Morning.
Morning.
So, who remembers what we're talking about today? Health, yeah. Today specifically is on gut health. How our foods and our environment affects our digestion. To begin with, I want to start with the basics of digestion. Because, I don't know, I think it's really important that we understand, the process of digestion for our foods. So where does digestion begin?
In the mouth.
In our mouth, right. It's very important that we introduce our food to saliva and chew it well, thoroughly. This is the beginning of digestion, and this is where most of the digestion of our carbs takes place. From there, our food goes into our stomach, and a lot of people think of the stomach as just acid, but there's so much more there. There's enzymes called pepsin, and what these do is they primarily, in the stomach, proteins are broken down into a liquid called chyme. And this is also where a lot of good bacteria gets introduced, or starts being introduced. And it goes from there into the small intestine, and they call it the small intestine because of how big around it is. The fact of the matter is that small intestine is about 22 feet long, which I always find amazing. We get this, basically a rope inside of our body that just kind of, all our food goes through it. In the small intestine, bile is released from the gallbladder, which the bile from the liver is released through the gallbladder into our system. And this is where fats are digested. We also have, the pancreas also releases more enzymes. And the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats finish breaking down in the small intestine. And that's also where a lot of our nutrient from our food is absorbed. And if you can envision this in the small intestine, there's what's called villi and microvilli. And all I can think of is like a hand. You got your hand as the villi, and the fingers are the microvilli. And this is on a microscopic or nearly microscopic level. And that is what absorbs the food, the nutrient from the food into our bloodstream. These are engaged with blood and engorged, with blood, and have a very thin wall on them. And that's how nutrient gets into our bloodstream. Imagine if you're eating something abrasive, something that is not digesting properly in the stomach or chewed properly in the mouth, what effect it might have on these very tender little villi. Just a thought to think about as you're eating. Goes from there into the large intestine, where our body absorbs the necessary moisture and electrolytes. And I'm being very basic today. And then it goes from there, of course, it is expelled into waste. So that's the basics of digestion. And that's really as basic as I can make it and not take too long, because we got a good sermon coming up here. But we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Amen.
So the question today is, how do we care for this system that God has placed within us? And my next note is refer to my printout. Unfortunately, our food supplies contain a lot of foods that may harm our gut. A good rule of thumb is to stick with whole foods options as close to their original form as possible. This will help to reduce added sugars, sodium, preservatives, and other ingredients that can harmfully affect our gut health. Now, I'm going to start off here with foods that negatively affect our gut health. These are foods that we really need to be avoiding if we want to be healthy, because our gut health has a tremendous effect on our overall health. Foods with added sugars, and you're going to find that a lot of these foods, the negative foods, are the ones I mentioned last week, and I'll mention them again next week, and so on. Foods with added sugars, artificial sweeteners, we talked about how bad those were. Obviously alcohol, fast food, fried foods, high glycemic foods, those are like white bread, donuts, pastries.
Where does puppy lice fit?
High sodium foods, always remembering we do need to get some salts in our diet. Highly processed foods of all kinds, processed meats, highly processed plant-based meats, and we'll be talking more about those every week. The cooking class is going to be a lot on how to avoid eating those highly processed vegetarian meats. Okay, fruits, soda, sugar, alcohol foods, trans fats. You know what trans fats are?
Yes.
Partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. The FDA recently has banned the inclusion of trans fats as food. It's no longer considered food. So if the FDA has come to that conclusion,
They didn't.
it's got to be really, really bad.
They were forced to.
And it's taken them how many hundred years?
They were
to,
forced to change.
yeah, they were forced into it, exactly.
Another thing.
Let's remember though, we can create them ourselves. Okay, you can take what's a perfectly good oil and overheat it to the point of where it starts to smoke, and we have produced our own trans fats, which will contribute to cancer, intestinal inflammation, and disrupt gut microbiome. Stick with avocado and olive oil for cooking, and avoid frying as much as you can. Reasonably do. Other bad practices that are non-food and have a negative effect on our gut are antibiotics. If you take antibiotics, as soon as you're done, you should take some probiotics and some prebiotic foods. And that's important, and we'll get into that in a few seconds here. Other things that have a negative effect: lack of exercise, makes you stronger and improves your lymphatic system and so on. Lack of variety in your diet. We've all heard the term too much of a good thing. It doesn't matter how good it is for you, if you're eating it all the time in exclusion of other foods, it's not going to be good for you anymore. It's going to be a detriment. You're going to be lacking in some areas. And of course, lack of sleep and stress are also things that really affect our gut health. The results of, at least the results that you'll see first if you're having gut issues, is fatigue, poor digestion, skin issues, mood swings, fluctuating weight up and down. And just something to think about, to show you how delicate our system is. We have over 1,000 bacteria, fungi, and viruses that make up our gut biome. So it's a very delicate system. Having the right balance is critical for maintaining proper overall health and general health. Okay, so how do we get a healthy gut? What are the foods that we can eat? I almost started drinking somebody's water. What are the foods that we can eat that help?
A lot of vegetables,
Yeah, vegetables,
fruits,
fruits, whole grains, leafy vegetables.
What about whoopie pies? Where's that at?
Those do not come on the list. Those are on the other list.
I'm just kidding.
The second most important thing is hydration.
Yeah.
You know, staying properly hydrated. And now the subject that I started on before, probiotics and prebiotics. Now, probiotics, you can buy probiotics in the store, right? And a lot of people should. A lot of us really should be buying those and having them on a regular basis. But without prebiotics, they're useless. It's like buying the most expensive seed and putting it in the ground and having no sunlight, sandy soil with no nutrient in it. You need prebiotic foods to supply what these probiotics need to thrive. And the prebiotic foods are things like onions, garlic, artichoke, chia seeds, most fibrous vegetables, asparagus, and basically most whole vegetables, most whole food vegetables. If you mix them in with a lot of things like you get from a pre-prepared meal at the store, it's not going to do it for you. Other things you can do that help with your gut health is lowering your stress. Stress, and what's the best way to lower our stress? Exactly, prayer and time with loved ones. Eat slow, chew your food very well. Makes a huge difference. Drinking plenty of water, like we said. Identifying foods that have you have an intolerance to that cause bloating, fatigue, digestive issues. Switching over to organic food will very often eliminate the side effects that you get from other foods. Like for instance, well, alright, I'm going to go into something else here that I was debating whether to do it today or next week. Does anyone know what glyphosate is?
Is that Roundup?
Yeah. It's the active ingredient in Roundup. Frequently found in processed grain-based foods. And it's hard on your gut, but it's a lot more than that. Where did I read that? Okay, it causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Okay, and the ironic thing there is the Bayer company makes Roundup now. They bought the company that makes it, so they are the parent company. And guess who makes drugs for helping people with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? Yeah. Talk about a conflict of interest. So where do you find it in the foods? And this is going to shock a lot of you. Oat-based cereals and granola bars are the worst. Any oats that are grown in the state of Maine are sprayed just before they harvest them, about a week or two before harvest. and the residue from that spray is still on the oats. If you go to your local farmer thinking, oh, I'm gonna buy some locally grown oats, they're gonna be healthy for me, that's the worst food you can eat almost. It is really bad. It is loaded. In fact, I was on my way over here last fall to a meeting here at the church, and I saw one of their drones spraying the oat field in Exeter. And that's what they were spraying on it. They were spraying Roundup. What Roundup does, they spray it on it while the oats are mature, but they're not dry enough to harvest. So by spraying it, it kills the oats quickly and they dry out fast. And within 2 weeks, if they don't get a lot of rain, within 2 weeks they can harvest it. In 2 weeks, that residue is not off the oats.
No.
Yeah,
Are there organic oats that are grown in the state?
you'll have to look for them.
I say,
They're not easy to find.
right.
All of our grains should be organic. For this reason, this is a practice that they've been doing for, they didn't do obviously before this was created, before Roundup was created, but it's been going on for a while. I'll just wrap things up real quick here. My favorite cereal used to be Honey Nut Cheerios, and it is loaded. It's the first one on the list. Quaker Oats, oatmeal squares, Nature Valley products. It's also been found in chickpeas, which is what hummus is made out of. Pinto beans, lentils, peas, pasta, crackers, bread. Any grain product that you buy, please buy organic. It's serious. Okay, back to gut health. I had to get that out because it's so important, yes.
Do you have an example of a food-based probiotic, if you don't wanna buy a probiotic?
Probiotics, I believe your body creates them slowly over time. If you don't want to buy it, let me research that a little bit.
Sauerkraut, so fermented food?
Yes, fermented foods are a way of getting some of it, yeah. Yogurt, you can get some. Probiotics is a quick, easy way of getting it, I guess.
Yogurt, buttermilk, sauerkraut, fermented pickles.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything.
There are foods that will help definitely a lot.
It's not just fermented foods.
But yeah, sauerkraut is one of the best, actually. Okay, that's about it for me today. The connection between our gut health and our overall health is huge. And if you'd like to learn more, I don't have the date yet, but next month, probably towards the latter part of the month, we will be having a cooking class. And this will be the focus of the class. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.